Okay, we are going to get started with one of our March Club Q kits. This one is called I Love That Smile. The instructions have a clear picture on the front, has suggested inks of Aqua, Montego Bay, and Navy, but any green, blue, even some browns if you wanted to, any of those colors from your stash, whichever colors you have that you want to go ahead with, you grab and have ready for you. I actually have Montego Bay and Jade, so I'm doing greens and blues, but you choose the colors that you want for you for the Powder Puff Chalking inks. And to get started, we are going to work on the pinwheels first because those need some time to dry, and we want those set up before we actually get them on the page. So we will do, there is one cutting diagram that looks like this. We'll do that next after we get some of the pinwheels together. A couple of things that I want to go over before you punch everything out, or if you already have, that's fine. But I just wanted to show you, so at the top of our directions it says make sure and keep all the inside pieces to the tags. So I want to show you why. This one actually has a little pinwheel that comes out of the center of it. We're going to be working on that in a minute. And then this little scrap, this tiny little piece can just be gone. But this right here is actually a tab that we use. So I just wanted to show you that before we got too far. And if for some reason you threw it away, no big deal. You can cut it out of a scrap piece of paper or something. But this is a piece that we use, and there's a couple of tags that have that in there. The other one is a turquoise kind of aqua color tag. So we actually use this piece and we use this piece. So don't throw those away. And at any point, just stop the video, punch things out, chalk them up, whatever you need to do, and then you can start the video again. That's the beauty of having a video, is that you can work at your own pace. And right now I am just punching out all of the little pinwheels because we're going to start on those. Those are the most time consuming of this entire kit. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to get started on those. And you can use either side. You can tell which, if you flip a corner over, this is what's going to show here. You can use either side. So I'm actually going to put them mostly on the solid sides here. So there's 2 small, 2 medium, and 1 large. And I'm going to start with the small because those are the ones that are the hardest to get the buttons to stay on because there is not as much space, and they pop up really easy. You can use either Beacons 3-in-1, that's super tacky. I use this once in a while for these kind of projects, and then what I do is while it dries fairly quickly, but I set something on top so that it holds it down. So I'll do one with my ATG gun, and then I'll also do one with liquid. So I'm going to get started. What I do is I just put a little blob of glue right in the middle. You don't want to go too big because you just have a small button that's going to cover that. Now with these small ones, you're really going to want to actually kind of crease this part instead of have it rounded because it will stay much easier. And what you want to do is you fold one corner down and then you skip a point. You take the next point, fold that one down into the center, and these can overlap a little bit if you need to get a little more adhesive on there. You don't want to put too much because then it will take forever to dry. We folded this one down, so you skip this point and you go to the next. I'm just noticing I have ink all over my hands and my nails, and probably not perfect for the video, but I just noticed. Okay, so Once you get that down, I put a little more adhesive, and then you skip a point and you do the next point. And like I said, on these smaller ones, you're really going to want to crease this most of the way instead of have it rounded so that your center won't pop up. Then I put a little bit more on there. And you have a little bag of embellishments. So open those, get your buttons out and ready. And there is a small blue one. And a small green one. So choose a button, put it on there. And then what I do is I find something heavy. These scissors are really heavy duty. So I will just sit this one off to the side since I use liquid glue, and I'm going to put something right on top of it to hold that down. And then I'll move on to the next one. Now the next one, I'm just going to use my ATG gun. It's a little harder on these small ones, but I just put a bunch of tacky glue in the middle, fold a corner down. The ATG gun folds pretty well, or holds it pretty well. Again though, you want to make sure that that's kind of creased on these smaller ones. A little more adhesive. And each time you skip a point so that it makes the pinwheel. A little more right in the middle. And take another button. And as long as these are creased pretty well, this should stay. But depending on whether you use liquid or ATG tape, just find what works for you. I'm going to set this one off to the side and keep the scissors on it just to keep it. Okay, so now we will do the larger ones, and I'm just going to put a bunch of adhesive right in the middle on all of them and just have them ready to go. You take one corner, fold it over, and you don't have to crease this one quite as much, but you can fold it down just a little bit. Oh, sorry, my cat's coming to say hi. And then you might need a little more in there. I started doing some of these videos at home because at the warehouse, it's not always the quietest place. And now here I am at home and my cat wants to be the star of the show apparently. So you just keep doing that same skip a point, that same thing for all of your pinwheels. And these can overlap. You can't really tell if it's off just a little bit, so do whatever is gonna make it hold the best. If you have to put a little more point into the center to make it stay, put a little more crease on it, whatever works for you. Put some more in the middle. Put the other button. And you can always flip this over too and do the other side if you want to, depending on which side you want the points to show. I leave this a little bit rounded just because I like the extra dimension on there. But if you leave it completely rounded, it pops up pretty easy from the glue. So crease it as much as you need to. And again, just chalk things up as you go, however it works for you, whatever colors you want to use. These I might put a little chalk on after I get them together. So I'm using Montego Bay, and I'm just going to put a little on the ends of these, just add a little color. And if you like that look, you can do it to all of them. If not, you can leave them plain. This is your project, so you do what you love. I kind of like it with that extra chalky look on there. Okay, so we have our pinwheels ready. I'm going to move it off to the side, and I'm going to bring out our 12 by 12 paper that we need to use the cutting diagram for. Get your trimmer. And I'm also going to, while I have my trimmer out, I'm going to show you where to cut on these as well. But we'll start with our 12 by 12 plaid diagram. We are actually going to cut off this 4.5 by 5.5 piece. Well, actually, I'll just start on this side. This will make it easier. So we want to cut at 7.5. We'll make the 5.5 by 7.5. So put your paper in to 7.5 and trim. Then you want to turn it to 5.5 and trim. And you scoop this one into 5.5 and trim. And then you have a little piece that's left over. You can save that or throw it away. A lot of times we tell you to save things because we tend to use a lot of the scraps. Okay, so this is actually the side that the diagram is on, but I just was showing the aqua side there. Okay, so now we need 4.5 by 5.5. This is already at 4.5, so we are going to turn it to 5.5 and trim there. So we have our 5.5 piece. Those aside. And then I am going to show you, so you actually have a good sized piece left over that you can use maybe your extra paper pack with your random papers in it to make another layout. Because between the two Club Q kits this month, these are some of the extra pieces from the other kit as well. So you have lots to work with as far as like photo backers and extra paper that you have from both kits. Okay, so this one, I want to show you what we're gonna do is start by trimming this green piece out first. So put it in so that your wire goes right up to the edge of that green kind of banner piece there. And trim. And then you just want to move it over so that you're cutting right at the bottom of these journaling pieces, and that cuts right at the edge of your green piece. So you have this. And then what you want to do is just take your scissors and cut that nice little dove's tail on the ends. And you have your little piece there. These are left over. Okay, and then we will push it in a little further and trim out right between the blue and the green. So right at the top of the journaling pieces, we are going to trim one more time. And this is where it gets a little tricky because it's hard to get this in there exact. But move it down one more time, and then you cut out the words, I love that. So you have this. And if you have just a little bit of the green showing like I do, no worries, because you can just chalk that with some blue. And then I'm going to trim off the edges here. And these don't have to be exact either, because they're going to be covered up some. And then these last pieces, I'm going to go down the edge of this little banner piece here. But then the words, I am going to actually just trim out. My trimmer needs a new blade. Okay. So we'll trim this out. And then each small piece I would just trim out with your scissors. Go across the top of all of them. And these can all be inked up. So if there's a little white showing, no biggie. You can take a green or a blue. But you want to trim right along the edge of the green on each letter. And if I'm moving too fast, feel free to just hit pause, do your thing, and then come back to us. Okay, so here's all your letters. And like I said, if there's a little bit of white showing, you can trim it off if you want, or you can just chalk over it. I'm going to use a little blue. So see, it covers it right up, adds a little extra color to it, and you can't even tell that there is white. So each of these pieces, I'm going to move up and just have ready for when I get my banner on there and need it. Where's my L? There we go. It's not often that we make these tiny little pieces. They're a little harder to work with, but not bad. Okay, and then on my I love that piece. I can see a little white across the top, so I'm just going to chalk that up, make it a little messy so that you can't even tell. Have that ready. This is just garbage. Chalk these up as well if you would like. These would look really nice with the green on it too. Okay, so I have all my little embellishments done. You also want to trim out your journaling pieces. Chalk those up too if you would like. I think I'm going to actually use a green. We suggest, I think, Winter Mint maybe on this one from our new candy collection, Powder Puff Chalking Inks. So that would look really nice. I have jade right here, so I am going to go around with a little bit darker green. I love this green jade color. And if you want to hold off on the chalking, you can always kind of lay your layout together and then decide what colors you want where too. But I have all my embellishments ready, so I am going to bring out my 2 background papers. We can put our trimmer away because I think we are completely done. Get out our background paper. Okay, then we will just start layering the pieces. So your 2 large plaid pieces. Page 1, you want to put it about just a little over an inch from the right side and about a little over 3 inches down from the top. And again, these don't have to be exact. They just need to be able to fit the pictures that you have. So if you need to move them down a little further to the right so you can fit a bigger picture on there, you go right ahead. I am going to put this one on the second page. We're not going to glue any of these down yet. We're just going to get the page set up and then we can go back and glue down. Okay, so you have this piece that came out of your diagram and the smaller aqua colored piece that goes on top of it. And again, chalk these up as you go. And then this one goes about an inch down, a little over an inch down from the top. about 1.5 inches, and then 1.5 inches in from the left side. And out of your die cut, you have a little banner that goes at the top. I don't know what you call that. Little dovetail that goes at the top. And then once you get this all laid out, you can pick it back up and do, and then put some adhesive on it, chalk it up. I'm just kind of getting it laid out here. And this one goes about 1/2 inch down, 1/4 inch down from that, and about 1 inch from the left side of the page. One of your journaling pieces will get tucked in right up here. If you only have a little bit to say, you can maybe just put a title on there and put it down further. If you want to write more, you can pull it up. Your I love that piece actually goes flush to the right side of your plaid piece. You have a smaller, you have these two green little banner pieces. This one we are going to overlap just barely right here. Your aqua banner with the little stitches in it, that is going to go right over top of this teal piece, this turquoise piece. And your little smile words, letters, go right on top of the banner pieces. And I like to lay these out to begin with so that I can see if I need to move anything around so that I can see my pictures better, so that I don't cover up any of the things that I really want shown. Okay, and then on this one, we have our pinwheels. And if they're not sticking together, just crease these down a little more so it doesn't pop up in the middle. Out of those pinwheels on page 1, you want to use the largest one and one of the smallest ones. And you can choose. You don't have to use exactly what we used either. So see, this is why I like to lay it out first so I can see where I want things. This needs to go a little further to the left. I'm going to put that right over there. So the next small one, whichever small one you choose, that can go right there. Cover up anything that's showing, or any of the background that's showing, any of the little areas. And then page 1 is done. And once I have it on here, I can decide, okay, do I need to move things around a little bit? It looks like I actually need to move this down slightly. So I am going to go ahead and move this down. And then what I do, once I have everything in place like I want it, I will pick up certain pieces, like put a little adhesive on here, and I can slide that in there. The next layer would be here, put some adhesive on it, and just kind of layer back on and glue as you go. And page 2, we have some tags. Get these laid out here. So one tag is a print on the back with a solid frame. The other tag is solid with a print on the front. And in your little embellishment packet, there were 2 white brads. And what I do is I actually just hold them in there with brads so that I can easily lift this up, take it back off, use it as a template to trace around for your picture, stick a picture in there. So if you don't have the pictures that you're going to use, just put the brads in the top. I'm looking for my brad here. Just put the brads in the top, and then that will hold it in place enough so that you can lift this back up. And I'm just going to sit these here until I get things situated. Okay, you have a big aqua banner that is going to go down the side. I'm putting it right over top of this, but if you want to and you want to add maybe a bigger picture, you can also put it under the edge of this here. Totally up to you. I'm putting it over, and it needs to go about 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the right side of the page. And then you have 2 banners like this, one with a dove's tail at each end. That one goes just to the right, layered on there. You have a green banner that will go across the bottom, and that one wants to be lined up almost to the bottom of your blue piece here, your blue dotted piece. And you have one tag, second tag. Oh gosh, I forgot to put this down. This one can go flush. Whoops, I should have used some adhesive here. This one can get tucked right in the end there, and that can go almost to the very edge of the page. This can go flush with that. Your tags. And then your 2 pinwheels. And you can adjust those however on the page, if you would like them better up here, the side. You choose what works best for you. I think I'm going to do just like this. So it kind of depends on what pictures you have in here, whether this is going to show, if you need to move this down a little bit. But that's why I kind of get it set up to begin with before. And then this can be added. You can put it further over. You can put it over here at the top. In ours, in the picture, we have it about 1/2 inch from the edge of your dotted banner. And then you have your very last pinwheel. And I hope you enjoyed the March Club Q. I love these colors. We're excited about next month. We have all new papers for next month, and they are on the website now, so check that out. And we will see you next time. Thanks so much.